Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, boxing and MMA fans from around the world. Introducing from Bassett, California, the third man in the ring, Popeye Ray.
Hey, welcome to Third Man in the Ring, guys. I'm your host, Popeye Ray. I don't even have to introduce this man. You know, Tony Weeks has done mega fights, awesome fights, one of the best referees in the world. And you know what, today we're just gonna hear his story, how he got into the business, how he grew up, where he grew up. And you know what? I want to ask him about that awesome fight, Diego Corrales and Castillo. One of the best fights in the world, if not the best refereeing. So with that said, give a warm welcome to my friend, your friend, Tony Weeks.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, brother.
You got it, brother.
All right. So T, you don't mind I call you T?
Oh, come on, man. Yeah,
Well, there you go.
you know.
So Tony, tell us a little bit about where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I can hear the little accent like Jack Reese.
Yeah, you know, and you know, growing up in the inner city or any inner city for that fact, you know, it was always tough and it was rough, you know, growing up. But I had a great childhood. You know, I think what saved me, I got into sports at an early age, playing football and running track and you know, things of that nature. You know, so I was always involved in athletics. So that kind of saved me from the street life.
And what part of New York?
Brooklyn.
Oh man, I hear that's a rough place, man.
Yeah, but you know, it was like the old saying: if you make it there, you can make it anywhere. And
that's right.
You know, even looking back at it, you know, the way I grew up, I would do it all over again because, you know, the things that you learned early in life.
It pretty much made you, right?
Oh, you know, it makes you, know. And I mean, a lot of my friends, a lot of people I grew up with, you know, didn't make it. But, you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, how does Jay call it? Concrete jungle, no?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been in New York a few times. And, you know what I mean? I stood up straight and mind my manners there, you know? So what kind of sports did you do?
Yeah, like I say, I played football.
Okay.
I started out in the Potwana League, Little League football, and then from there I went to high school football and ran track also. And also, even before that, I believe at the age of 12, 13, I started martial arts. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I was...
And you know what, T? I've seen you do some MMA before, too.
Yes. I judged the MMA fights,
right.
UFC, you know, what have you.
Yeah, I've seen you a couple of times on the tube there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when did it... I mean, after high school, what was life all about there? I mean, what came about to T today, Big T today?
Well, you know, growing up in the inner city in Brooklyn, and that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And when I graduated from high school, you know, I said to myself, you know, I want to get away. I want to see how the other half lives. You know, instead of going to college in the New York area or the surrounding area, I want to see the country.
Yeah.
You know, and I went to school. My first school, college. I went to in Fort Scott, Kansas. You know, and that was a culture shock.
Was it?
Yeah, big time. You know, you coming from the inner city and you go into the country and it's like, you know, the
whole different.
Yeah, pace is slowed down
mentality,
and
everything.
Yeah,
no?
So I had to change my mentality, you know, to deal with it. You know, of course, you know, being my first time away from home, and you get homesick. You know, you kind of you miss everything and stuff. You know. But, you know, from there, I was playing football in college, and things weren't going too right. And I said, you know, in terms of me not playing the way I thought I should be playing, you know, I'm a transfer, and I transferred to a school in Arizona, Eastern Arizona College. And, you know, from there, you know,
that's another big shock, no?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of prepared for it. Yeah. I was kind of prepared for it now, you know, so it was a little different. Yeah, and stuff, but and kind of stayed out west, you know, got married, got divorced, stayed out west, you know, and
any kids?
Yeah, I have a son. Yeah, son. He lives in Sacramento. And
Tony Jr.?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, all right.
He's up there, you know. But no, you know, I just stayed out west here, and then everything just grew from there.
You know, and then, what did you do besides boxing? Is this all you did, boxing?
No, actually, okay. At the time, I was an instructor in martial arts. It wasn't my class. I was doing it for my instructor, Do-Hee Yu, at the time, and I needed a job.
Yeah.
And one of the students, his father was a captain at the federal prison camp out there. And he told me, put in for it, and, I put in for it. And actually at the time, I was living in a small town called Safford, Arizona. And when I put in for it, I got the call, but the job was in Phoenix. I said, I'm ready to go. And so
Pack it up, huh?
pack it up, gone, moved to Phoenix and got on with the federal correctional, facility there. And I did 25 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And being on the other side, I actually was in prison, but imagine having Tony Weeks as your guard. That'd be cool. That was cool.
Oh yeah,
So tell me, since I brought that up, how was it in there, T?
Coming from the inner city, you grew up around that element.
Yes.
So you have an understanding. When I came into the system, I came in with the mentality of not so much a guard, but as somebody who understood why certain people are here. I don't condone any, breaking the law, but I understood, the circumstances that surround, people growing up in these areas, different areas that they can get caught up in, in that situation. So, coming into the prison system, my thing was, hey, I knew and understood about respect. Okay.
That's the golden word.
And
man.
yes, and not so much, demanding respect. Respect is earned as you go along. And it was more important for me to be cordial to everybody.
Yeah.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, you name it. I understood the importance, of that, of being fair. And as you know of yourself, in prison, you have very little options, very little rights, But, when someone shows you respect, when someone treats you like a human being, because, when you're down, it's easy for, somebody to, put the foot on you and keep you down and stuff. Yeah. But when you treat somebody, fairly.
And it's, I could back that up totally, because when I was in there, and state and feds no different, but when I was in there, if we seen this officer would be disrespectful, we ran havoc.
Yeah.
We ran amok.
Oh yeah.
But when he gave us respect,
absolutely,
we gave it right back to him.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're not going to screw this up.
No.
Everybody act right.
No.
You know what I mean?
Bottom line, and for yourself, when I go to work, the inmates allow me to go home. Because at any given time,
it can kick off.
At any given time, and I've been in some, my 25 years, I've been in some tough situations, but it wasn't something that I created. Someone else created, and I had to jump in and save this. But when you realize that you have the respect of the shot callers, and because the shot callers say, hey, no.
That's right.
And
that's what I was saying. I wasn't doing the shot calling, but that's what they would tell us. You're going to act right.
Yeah.
Tony's on duty today.
Yeah.
Act right. You're going to mess this up.
Absolutely. Somebody new come on the yard. They say, see that brother right there? And they call me brother.
Yeah.
See that brother right there? Respect him. Don't, I've had inmates do stuff, and and they didn't know who I was or my reputation.
Got chin checked?
Yeah, they got checked. Next day they coming back and apologizing.
Huh?
And then no worries, no worries. You know what I mean?
It never happened to me, but I seen it happen.
Yeah.
Where,
Oh yeah.
hey, you better go apologize.
Yeah.
Don't F up that train. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, you can as an officer. Let me back up. I came in the entry level as an officer. And then when the opening came up in recreation, I said, that's where I want to be.
Okay.
Recreation. When you're in recreation, and I'm talking to you because you can relate.
Privilege.
Yeah, you
That's
can
a
relate to
privilege,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. Now I'm dealing with the whole population. Okay. And you're dealing with a different mentality when they come on the rec yard,
Yeah.
as opposed to other places and stuff. But the flip side of that, a lot of stuff happens on the rec yard that goes down. But that's where I knew where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a captain, a warden, lieutenant, none of that stuff. I wanted to be in recreation, and like I say, that I dealt with the whole population. And people look at you differently, when they come out, to do their rec and stuff.
So T, tell us so what came up? How did you get into boxing? How did you become the greatest referee?
Wow.
And I'm not just joking, bro. You've done some awesome fights. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you right now?
I'm 66.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Tony. I mean, I'm only 6 years behind him, but I used to see him referee, and I just go, man, he just conducts himself like nothing phases you. But yet, you were there.
Yeah.
You enforced the rules when you had to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to get to the Diego Corrales fight only because, personally, I think I would have screwed that fight up. I really did. Because when Diego went down that second time, well, you know what? Let's get back to you first right now. We'll get to that. But so what came about becoming a referee?
Well, I mean, it really goes back to my childhood. Yeah, growing up in Brooklyn, and the era I grew up during, the Muhammad Ali era. The great fighters, Duran, Leonard Hearns, Hagler, Alexis Arguello. The list goes on and on and on.
One of my favorite fighters.
Guys went 15 rounds and they fought, the best. And they fought multiple times a year. Wide World of Sports, Howard Cosell, you name it. So I grew up. I was always into boxing, and I never had really any aspirations when coming up being a referee. Your mind like that? Never really crossed my mind. But the one thing that happened, I remember this date. To this day, I've never felt the excitement and anticipation of a championship fight like I did on March 8th, 1971 in Madison Square Garden, New York City, the first Ali Frazier fight. What an event. I mean, I was in grade school, and, this particular fight just captured the entire world. When the crowd at the Garden, that was the only time where the majority of the people were celebrities. Frank
Sinatra in the front row,
And then I think a kind of a seed was planted in me that I didn't really know at the time. But I remember, looking at the referee, Arthur Mercanti, who refereed that fight. And I was just saying to myself, man, what a position to be in, never even thinking anything about it, But fast forward, going back to the prison, working in recreation. We had an inmate up there that was a fighter. And one of the local trainers in Phoenix was interested in training him when he got out, and got in contact with me. And I said, sure, come on up, and you talk to the guy and blah blah blah, whatever. Now, before this happened, after this happened, they came up and they visited, blah blah blah. And after this happened, I thought, you know what? Let's bring on let's put on the boxing exhibition.
Oh, okay. In the prison, huh?
In the prison. Now, understand, this was the federal system. This has never been done in the federal system. It hasn't been done since. You know, the state, they have boxing.
Yeah.
You know, but in the federal system, they didn't have it. So
Very strict in the feds. No?
yes. And let me tell you,
no games right now.
yes, let me tell you how I had to do it.
Thank you to HDC Construction in Ontario, California. They're a national leader in commercial construction with a proven track record of expertise in cold storage solutions and epoxy flooring. Their team works closely with you to efficiently meet all compliance standards while maintaining budget commitments and completing projects on time. HDC Construction works with Fortune 500 companies and small businesses throughout the country in the areas of steel stud framing, refrigeration panels, dock doors, comprehensive drain systems, fire sprinklers, block walls, and much more. For bids, quotes, or a free consultation, call 909-626-0214 or visit their website at www.hdconstruction.com. Ralph Sarabia and his wife Jody Sarabia are the founders of Putazos. They started Putazos to reach the veteran community who is currently losing 22 vets a day to suicide. Ralph and his unit, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, lost over 15 guys while serving in Iraq. He wanted to share with you that whether you fight physical or mental battles, it ain't over yet. With that said, Putazos has developed high-end boxing gloves that have been approved by State Athletic Commission to be in pro fights. If you want a boxing glove that's inspired by patriotism and is battle tested, check them out at putazosfightapparel.com. And just keep in mind that a portion of Putazos proceeds will go to the Semper Fi Fund, which helps wounded warriors.
Now, so I got with the trainer and I said, okay, man, bring up a couple of fighters. I don't know if you remember a fighter by the name of Louis Espinoza. They call him Sharpshooter Espinoza. He came up.
Tall, linky guy.
Yeah.
140, 135.
Somewhere around there. He came up with a couple other
Couldn't quite get that title, but he was always.
He was right there. No, he was right there. So what had happened was I understood the security system in the prison system. Before I presented to the authorities, I said, I'm about to put all the security procedures in place. Okay. Because when I presented to them, they went, well, we can't do it because I have this over. Well, why over here? But boom, I have this. So I had everything in place, security-wise, to say this can do it. Yeah, this can work. Now, of course, you're going to get opposition. Why are you doing this? We can't do this. Can't bring all this stuff in there. Blah blah blah. Whoop-de-whoop. And at the time, I had a pretty nice warden at the time, and we saw everything. It was in place, and he said, "No, let's do this." Okay. So this was on a Saturday. I set the ring up there on the rec yard, and I kid you not. We had inmates literally turning down their visits to come see this.
I was just going to say, if I was there and they said they had a competition fight, boy, I would have loved to have gone.
And the yard was packed. And the guys, they got up, the fighters, they got up there and they started sparring. I did all the announcing and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they started sparring. I said, oh, man, I forgot to get the referee. You know what I mean? And I think out of more of a curiosity, I asked one of the trainers at the time. His name was Beto Martinez. I don't know if you remember him. He's out of Tucson, Arizona. He passed away some years back. But anyway, I asked him, hey, you mind if I get up there? And he says, no. And Ray, I got up there, and instantly I fell in love with it. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel out of place. Like and I'm doing this thing here, blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short, at the end of the show there, the trainer Beto Martinez asked me, have you ever done that before? I said, no. He says, well, I think you should look into it. You got good natural movements. And what actually happened, he took it a step further and called the Arizona State Boxing Commission and said, hey, I think you ought to look at this guy, give this guy a shot. Now, the normal procedure, as you know, you start out with the amateur ranks and you work your way up from there. What had happened was after Beto talked to the executive director, who was John Montano at the time.
I know who he was.
John, called me and said, "Hey, okay, listen, here's the number to the whoever was running the amateurs at the time. I think it was Mr. Hoskins. I can't remember. But anyway, he gave me the number to call, and I called, And it's like, it wasn't really happening. I said, oh, this is not going to really, go out. So I kind of left it alone. Then I got a call from Johnny Montano, and he says, listen, we got a tough man contest coming up in Kingman, Arizona. Come on down, we'll give you a look, give you a try. I want to look at you.
Wow.
And came down there, and he had another referee. I don't know if you remember Al Munoz at the time, old school referee, but everything went well. And he says, all right, hey, come on back on Monday, fill out your application and take your physical, blah, blah, blah. And,
So you started in Arizona then, huh?
Started right there in Arizona. See, at the time, I didn't know how influential that Beto Martinez was.
Oh, okay.
If he gives a word that's, hey, man, this, look at this guy, And Ray, when I look back at it, the good
What year was this?
It was like 91, 90, around 91, 92, somewhere around there. And the good thing about it, I have it on tape.
Oh, okay.
And when I look at it, now I can see what Beto saw in me, because I didn't look too much different, than I do, today, But I tell you, if I had succumbed to the pressure of the opposition that didn't want me to do this, I don't think I would be
haters, as they call them today.
You know it. You know what I mean.
As they call them today.
And but I went through with it and got on in Phoenix, and it was like, okay, I'm here. And almost immediately, Phoenix being right next door to Las Vegas here. You know what? I like to go to Las Vegas.
Was that a smooth transition?
Okay. It was a divine transition, and let me explain why. Okay, being in the federal system, there's different institutions throughout the state. There was a prison camp here on the Nellis Air Force Base, and what had happened was, an opening came up in recreation, and now understand this was a prison camp, so it was like people who's high on the totem pole, more or less, transition and getting ready to retire or whatever, they get the top spot.
Seniority,
Yeah, they got the seniority, so I was low on the totem pole, but I wasn't going to tell myself no, I'm putting it for it anyway, So I put in for it and, say, oh, man, let's make this happen, whatever, And what had happened was my first warden, he was now in charge of the Western region. Okay. He happens to come to Phoenix. Okay. Now, out of all the barbershops in Phoenix, he just happened to go to where I get my hair cut.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Now,
it.
there's like 4 or 5.
What do they call it, a divine appointment?
There you go. And there's like 4 or 5 barbers in there. He happened to go to the one the barber who cuts my hair. Now, he's sitting in the chair. The barber don't know who he is, and he doesn't know the barber, whatever. Now, when you walk in the barbershops, they have sports pictures of the Phoenix Suns and all that, blah, blah. They had a picture of me when I did my first world title fight there in Phoenix. I'm, raising the fighter's hand and stuff. So he's getting his haircut, and he looks up and says, is that Tony Weeks? The barber says, oh, yeah. The barber said, matter of fact, I cut his hair. Oh, really? Yeah. Barber said, he's trying to get to Las Vegas. Next thing I know, right there, tell me that's not divine intervention, how everything had to systematically fall in place, for this to happen,
And thank you to him.
All praises due, yes.
You've done some awesome fights.
Oh, man.
Awesome fights.
Ray, I tell you, if growing up in Brooklyn, if somebody told me I'd be where I'm at today, I said, man, you crazy, but things happen, and he puts you on the platform for a reason.
That's right.
I never grew up saying I want to work in the prison. Like you say, you never grew up saying I want to be in the prison. You know what I mean? It brought me there, and to to be some type of shining light in this dark element, because I have people come up to me all the time. Hey, man, I may not recognize or know. I was in Phoenix or I was in Victorville, blah, blah, blah. And it's a positive greeting. Yeah, hey, this is my wife. This is my daughter. This is my son. This, and,
Well, I mean, coming from an inmate, when you're in that dark area and you see somebody in your position that could be hostile towards you, be disrespectful towards you, and gives you that mutual respect, it sticks, bro.
Oh,
it does.
absolutely.
You walk away saying, you know what? Not everybody's an a-hole, you know what I mean?
No.
And this guy could treat me bad, be disrespectful, and he treats me with respect.
Yeah.
You know? That ain't so bad, you know?
No.
There is hope.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why, likewise, if I seen you and I was in that position, hey,
Yeah.
how's it going, Tony? How's it going?
Yeah. And that's all. That's what, like I say, everybody who's incarcerated aren't bad people. They just put themselves in a bad situation. And as we know, there is that bad element that's in there, There
was a couple of times I met some guy in there. I said, thank God they're in prison. But there's some guys just need that second, third chance. You know
That's
what I
all.
mean?
That's all.
I mean, I don't know if you know, I always tell my testimony. I have a brother that did 35 years straight.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Straight. And you know what? God is good. He finally said,
came home.
I'm done.
Yeah.
He got out.
Yeah.
He's serving God. He's got a good job.
That's great.
And you talk to him, you wouldn't even think he spent a day in jail.
Yeah.
And the last 12 of those years was in Pelican Bay.
Wow.
Locked down.
Big time.
Big time, bro. And
big time.
he says, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I
No.
don't want to see nothing about it. Just I want to go forward, you know.
Oh, yeah. And that's what it's all about, man.
And he was given a chance, you know.
Yeah.
He was given a chance. So, T, tell the fans, what's your routine when they call you up, whether it be a 4-rounder or a title fight? What's your routine either week prior? Or do you get your fights like we do, or Arbiter Sport? Through that app?
Yeah, they what's it called? Scheduleosity. Now they send you this app where ask you availability of this month, that month,
accept
whatever.
it or decline it.
Right, and stuff. But prior to that, we would get a phone call. And hey, you have such and such a fight on such and such a date, blah blah blah. But with me, I treat every fight like the same.
Amen.
Whether it's a
you hear that,
4-round.
guys?
Yes, yeah.
You hear that, guy? He's not going to treat a 4-round fight any different than a 12-round fight because, am I right, T? Can I speak on both right now?
Absolutely.
That fighter deserves our best.
Yes.
Because he's in there trying to get to that 12-round fight. He's in there to want to pay bills. He's in there to want to win.
Yes.
Just like that championship fight.
Yeah. I mean, some of the best fights are the 4 rounds and 6 rounds.
Club fights, man. Those guys, those kids
they
are
want to
hungry,
make
man.
it to that, that level. But there's one thing that I did, and when I was doing it at the time, I didn't really realize it. Started in Phoenix, like I said, and we didn't have that many big fights in Phoenix. The small club fights and stuff. But what I used to do as a referee, I used to pretend that this was the big fight. And at the time, I'm just fantasizing, Jimmy Lennon's calling my name, Michael Buffer's calling my name, and, this is the big fight. But when looking back at it, what I was actually doing was preparing myself mentally or psychologically. So when I got to the big fights, I was already there mentally, So that really helped me. And like I say, every fight is the big fight. The bottom line is every fighter that steps through those ropes, they have the ultimate on the line. Your life is on the line, your career is on the line. So there's a lot on the line that the fighters are dealing with. And
Tony, do you, in the morning when you have that fight, do you change your diet? Do you hey, I'm not going nowhere, or what, I'm gonna?
Yeah, I'm mainly just in the relaxed mode. Okay. And prepare myself, like I say, mentally for a fight. Once I get the assignment, I kind of Google and check out who the fighters are, and maybe look some films on them, on YouTube's on them, whatever, and just kind of get myself familiar with some of the fighters that aren't well known. But the day before the fight, or even a couple of days leading up to the fight, just staying in relaxed mode. There's something I always remembered when I played football. The coach used to say, save your legs. Don't want to be on your feet too much and walking around too much. Save your legs. So I've
especially at our age, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
Right.
But
That's right.
yeah, so I'm just in a relaxed mode. The day of the fight, I get up early, eat a big breakfast, and I don't need anything else till after the fight, and I
okay.
just relax and
Yeah.
be ready to go.
So I got to ask you though, you've done many fights, exciting fights, but the fight that goes down in history was Diego Corrales Castillo.
Wow.
I mean, again, and I'm not blowing smoke to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, watching it from the tee, I think I would have stopped it that I think the second knockdown, but by you letting it go, the way it went down, it was a perfect refereeing, perfect, exciting bout.
Yeah.
I mean, we use that. Jack has his arbiter sport. Jack Reese,
Yeah.
he's our trainer,
Yes.
mentor, and he uses that tape as this is the way it's done. You know what I mean? And
Oh wow, yeah.
I just pray I can get to that level to have that experience. But
No, you're there already, man.
tell us what were we thinking that day?
Well,
Because it was the main event. It was a big fight.
yes, it was on Cinco de Mayo.
And the way they both fight.
Yeah.
May he rest in
Yeah.
peace, Diego,
Yeah.
man. I love the
Yes,
guy.
yes.
But when it was, oh man, it was beautiful boxing, beautiful brawling, great referee.
Yeah.
You let them fight.
Yeah.
You didn't get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just. But
Yeah.
what were you thinking during that time?
Well, all praises are due to the fighters themselves that put on that magnificent performance. A little bit of history behind that. Originally, I wasn't supposed to do that fight, or wasn't going to do that fight. And I was okay with it because if you remember, the following week you had the big name fight with Tito Trinidad and what's the name, Winky Wright. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool,
You were thinking maybe you'd get that one?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Big name. They were more of a household name. And got a call from Mark Ratner saying, "Oh, we're going to give you the Corrales Castillo fight." Okay, so it was a little bit disappointment. Oh man, I'm not going to be able to do the other fight, whatever. But after doing that fight, I realized you never know what's going to happen in the fight.
We would also like to thank our newest sponsor, Twitch Boxing Equipment. You can count on them to provide you with all of your boxing equipment needs. They have all major brands in stock and are ready to ship. They also have their own label, Twitch Boxing Equipment. They offer a wide variety of gloves, wraps, and all the tools needed to elevate your development. You can follow them on Instagram at Twitch Boxing Equipment, and you can also pick up some Twitch boxing gear at some of the local clubs here in the Inland Empire. Also, we want to give another shout out to Valley Mission Builders. Valley Mission Builders is a general building company with over 3 generations of construction experience. They specialize in all phases of home construction, new home building, remodeling, room additions, and ADU and guest units. They can assist with planning and designing to complete construction. They service the greater Los Angeles area and Ventura counties, including the San Fernando Valley. Give Valley Mission Builders a call for a free consultation.
And going into that fight, I had no idea. I mean, I've done Corrales before and Castillo, but I knew what type of fighters they were. But I had no idea.
They were going to put a performance like that?
Yes,
Oh my God.
2005 Fight of the Year, Round of the Year. And, as soon as the fight started, it was just like fireworks from the start.
Yeah.
And these guys were going at it, tooth and nail, and nobody was backing up.
Nobody.
Fast forward to that 10th round. Corrales' eyes starting to close, or it was closed. And when he got checked with that hook and went down, when he went down the first time, he was focused.
Yeah.
I'm counting, he's looking at him, he's focused, he's still, I'm ready to go. Boom, 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 let the fight go on. No sooner than that, boom, he goes down again.
That's when I thought to myself, I probably would have stopped and ran Ray. You would have been booed your butt off.
Well, as
you obviously seen something.
Yeah. Well, as a referee, we look at how a fighter goes down.
Yeah.
And it's a difference if he went face forward,
Yeah.
or just fell right, But at the same time, I was still concerned because of the brutality of the fight. Both fighters taking equal amount of punishment. It wasn't never one-sided. But when he went down that second time, I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, "Oh, you all right?" Yeah, he's still focused. He's all right, ready to go. Now, let me rewind. As we know, the first time he went down, the mouthpiece came out.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to deal with that. All right, no worries. We're gonna put the mouthpiece back in, ready to go again. And second time he went down, mouthpiece comes out again. Okay, now this time I got to penalize you. And then what I did was, instead of calling time and going to the center of the ring and pointing each judge 1 point, as I was taking it to the corner, I was pointing to each judge, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point.
And that's what Jack points out.
Yeah.
You notice he didn't give an advantage to Diego for doing that, because Tony realized he did that purposely, and not putting Diego down. I love it.
No.
That was a veteran move, a smart move.
Please, yes, absolutely.
Smart move.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm going to spit out and buy myself some time to recover.
Yeah.
But the referee could have called time, held him by the hand, 1 point, which he would have wanted.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have been fair to Corrales.
No.
And this goes to say Tony Weeks was thinking, was smart, and played it fair.
Yeah,
and
thank
man,
you.
again, that fight, they still show highlights to this day.
Oh man, I mean, yes.
And I tell the homeboys, homeboys that aren't really close to buy, I trained Tony.
Yeah, you did.
I got to take some credit, bro.
You got it. But
And then when you stopped it.
Well, okay. When he went down, like I said, the second time, and I'm taking the corner, deducting a point. Joe Goosen being old school trainer, he's veteran. He's gonna put it in, and I gotta put it in, but he puts it in, and the fight starts. Now you can literally see my expression when the fight resumes. I'm focusing on Corrales because he's the hurt fighter. And then all of a sudden, he comes out with this right hand, and all of a sudden, Castillo goes reeling back against the ropes, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here, And it happens so fast, it's like 1 minute you're focused on one fighter, then the next minute you're focused on the other fighter. And after Corrales landed that solid right hand and landed a barrage of punches as Castillo was against the ropes, and I'm jumping in and I'm stopping the fight. It just happened
and
just like that.
Dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell he was out on his feet.
The initial reaction from the crowd was like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa. But when they saw the replay and saw how his hands...
So there was a little, because I watched the fight live, and I didn't hear that or
No. The crowd was cheering because of the dramatic ending.
Yes.
But a lot of
Castillo fans,
Castillo fans around the ringside, and then people from his corner, why'd you stop it, blah, blah, blah. But when he looked at the replay, and I said, no, you see how his hands dropped and he was defenseless, and, one more punch, you never know.
I always tell the fans, I rather, if I stop it too early, which we're not talking about that fight. If you think I stop it too early, I'd rather you be mad at me than your mom be upset with me in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean? We know the feeling. We know the feeling, and that's why people really don't understand how tough our job is. And it's darn if you do, darn if you don't.
Yeah. 1,000 rights, one wrong.
You know it.
You're loved today. Hated tomorrow.
But I tell you. At the time of the stoppage, I still didn't realize the magnitude of what happened, of the whole fight and how it ended, until afterwards people were newspaper calling me up and wanted to interview, blah, 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 what's going on, they wanted to,
Were you criticized? Or?
I could say some people, the mouthpiece thing, but
and again, we use that in our training. That was perfectly played out.
That's the only thing you do. Some people, you should have been disqualified. No.
Oh my God.
No, you can't disqualify somebody.
Exactly.
From
that was a smart veteran move, and he played it. and he got his cards played back, you know.
Right
No,
there.
that was an awesome history-making fight, man.
Yeah.
History-making fight.
Yeah.
So T, with that said, you want to say any shout-outs to the fans before we close, or? But I just, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah. No,
I got
you
major
it.
love for you.
You know it,
Not to
brother.
mention, in one of my biggest hurts.
Yeah.
I love my family, my wife, my grandkids, but one of my biggest, I guess, hurt in my boxing career, Tony Weeks stepped up and vouched for me, stepped in for me, and you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And you know what? He didn't have to do that. That just goes to show, after he's seen what happened, he's not saying I was necessarily right or wrong, but I'm going to be there and help you, and he did, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
You know, you know, as a referee, as a father, myself, you understand the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to the prison, a black inmate did something, a white inmate did something against each other, whatever situation. I analyze the situation. No, you wrong.
Yeah.
Whoever's wrong, you wrong. Or I can understand how it went about.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a difference in understanding, you know, how something, you know, goes about, how somebody's going to react, you know, to a situation. And in your situation, it was a natural reaction.
That was my child.
Nobody can fault somebody, you know, for standing up for the child. You know, any parent can, understand that, you know.
But again, I'm not going to downplay it. You didn't have to do that, though. You didn't have to.
Well,
and you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention names. I reached
Yeah.
out to a few people.
Yeah.
And you and Jack are the only ones that stepped up.
Oh yeah. No, you know.
In that particular incident. You know?
Yes, and the thing
I
about it is,
appreciate that.
no, you quite welcome, my brother. But the thing about it is, you know, some people think more of their career than helping somebody, because I could have been in that situation.
Yeah.
Anybody could be in that, you know, situation and stuff. But see, the bottom line is, I have no fear in stepping up and speaking out for somebody because that it may hurt my career in some way. No, because I believe in divine power.
That's right.
As long as you right in His eyes, can't nobody touch you.
Amen.
You know what I mean? If you approach me and I saw, no, you wrong, man. I can't do no. And this is what I'm gonna let you know why. But no, it wasn't even that case. It wasn't even that situation.
Even the Attorney General from California says, you know, Ray, any father would have did what you did.
Absolutely.
Any father would have
You wouldn't be a father if you didn't react
exactly.
you know, in that way. And once again, it wasn't anything about color, you know, being black, being Hispanic, being
that
white.
never came into it either.
That there wasn't anything. Yeah. Like I say, when I deal with something, it's about the bottom line is who's right, who's wrong, or whatever the situation is. You know, and like I say, I always go back to the prison. I'm fair with everybody. You know, if you're wrong or something, I'm gonna let you know you're wrong. You know, you right or something, I'm gonna let you know you're right.
This is why you've probably been blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is why you've probably been blessed, man.
Yeah. Well,
again, you know, are you in the Hall of Fame yet, T?
No, hopefully,
Man,
you know.
come on, people.
Hopefully,
Gotta get him in the Hall of Fame, T.
I don't know if you have to be retired or whatever, but I'm still.
I don't know what's happening there. I'm gonna write Nevada, man. I gotta write Nevada.
You know,
should be there.
You know what? You know, just being recognized on the street. You know, when people come up to me and acknowledge me, you know, for me, it's not so much that they see me on TV, but they appreciate the work you do.
Yes.
You know, and that's the difference.
I've always said there's a saying, the best compliment you could give me as a referee is, I didn't even know you did that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We didn't have to get involved.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time,
Yeah.
that was good refereeing because you didn't get involved. Or when you did, it was minimal. And again, you've done many great fights. You have. But it's just
blessed.
the Diego Corrales Castillo fight just stuck out because I was actually sitting in front of the TV watching it. And I know, at least I know I go, man, I would have stopped that fight in that second knockdown, but it was just history making.
You know,
history making.
Well, yeah, I got a little disagree with you on that because, as you know, when you're in the ring, you
Yeah.
see something different.
Yeah.
As opposed to being watching on TV.
you know,
Yeah.
That's why I told the homeboys
Yeah.
I trained you, man.
Yeah.
That's why I told the homeboys, like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, Holmes, I'm the one that trained you. Did you, Ray? Did you? I go, yeah,
That's
yeah, I'm the one that
it.
did it. But I can't tell the real serious fans. They say, oh, you don't even know him, man.
It's all good. It's
But-
all good. But I tell you, my mentor, Richard Steele, told me, he says a referee can go throughout an entire career and not have a signature fight. I was blessed to have a signature fight. You know,
But you got a few of them, though.
yeah, you
got a
know.
few
But
of
like
them.
I say,
But
this
that
one, history making.
Yeah, history.
Is
Always
one of,
highlights on
yes,
it.
the top 10 greatest fights in the history
Yes.
of boxing. Rounds of you know, yeah, you
Grandkids
know.
yet? You have grandkids?
Yeah, I have
they'll
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's my papa right there. That's papa.
Right there.
That's right,
Oh
that's
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But,
So T, I just want to thank you for coming out, and I appreciate you, brother. I got love for you, respect, and if you want to give a shout out to anybody out there, or talk to the fans before we close.
well, you know, it's always good to talk to the youth. You know, one thing you have to do and to be successful in life is to make sure that you are right in his eyes. That's number one.
Amen.
If you are right in his eyes, everything else will fall in place.
In his
Life is,
time, right?
yes, absolutely. Life is just like the weather. There's going to be rainy days. There's going to be sunny days. There's going to be overcast, you name it. But the sun eventually will come out. Okay? And you will have brighter days. There's going to be more brighter days than not so bright days. But the not so bright days even make the brighter days even brighter. Amen. So just hang in there, do what you need to do, and yeah, keep going.
All right, T. Thank you, fans, and again, go on YouTube, subscribe to my page, Third Man in the Ring, and thank you, Tony Weeks.
Thank
God
you,
bless,
Ray.
guys.